Looking now at the wildfire situation in Western Canada this morning, residents of Fort Nelson, BC have been left wondering when they can return home. About 4,700 people were told to leave Fort Nelson and the Fort Nelson First Nation back on May 10th. Two wildfires burning nearby are still out of control, but officials say they're starting to prepare for residents to return home. Albert Delatella is tracking this story for us this morning, and of course there are updates on the homes and structures that have been damaged there in Fort Nelson. I know a lot of residents watching to hear what kind of updates might be in store for them and their properties. So what's the latest there? Yeah,
and there is some difficult news coming from the mayor, Marianne. 4 homes in the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality, which includes Fort Nelson, they have been destroyed. 3 of those occupied, 10 properties damaged, but the other 6, the mayor says, not homes, more like sheds, workshops, that sort of thing. Mayor Rob Fraser, he does say that he is in touch. He has been in touch with most of the people who own those properties, and here's more from him about that difficult conversation.
I've been able to speak. It's one of the most difficult things I've done in my career. So they knew, but I was the official sort of messenger. And it's hard. It's so hard for me, but more so for them. And so my heart goes out to them, and, we're going to do everything we can to work with them to try to make this as smooth as possible.
So amid all of this, the community continues to be threatened by the Parker Lake wildfire burning just to the west. It's tracked right now at 123 square kilometers, and it's one of 2 wildfires of note in the area, meaning either highly visible and or a potential threat to the public. The other one is to the north, a much larger fire, the Patry Creek wildfire. It's nearly 718 square kilometers in size. In the Fort Nelson area, 4,700 people placed on evacuation order, still out of their homes. It's unclear when they might be able to return, but the mayor says staff, they are preparing for when that might happen. BC Wildfire Service, they do say, Marianne, that there is concern about wildfire activity to actually increase in the coming days. They did have some rain recently, but now temperatures are going higher, humidity is going lower, so that could be a worrying sign.
Yeah, the weather is such a huge factor in just where and how this fire is moving around. And of course, it's not just in British Columbia, also Alberta, as well as in Manitoba. And many of the residents were able to return home over the weekend. Yeah,
so that's some of the more positive news here in northern Manitoba. 675 people who are from Cranberry Portage, they were able to return home yesterday. They had been ordered to leave starting just over a week prior, but that massive wildfire burning near the community, it is now under control. Heather Murray was one of those evacuees returning home. Here's more from her.
I'm very nervous. I'm happy we're going home. The fire isn't out yet. It's just under control. It's going to be a very stressful summer for us.
Yeah.
But I'm relieved to go home, but there's work to be done.
And in northern Alberta, in Fort McMurray, more than 6,600 people there. They were forced to flee from 4 neighborhoods within Fort McMurray. They were able to return home on Sunday. But the fire burning to the southwest of there, it is still burning, but Marianne, it is now considered to not be out of control. It is considered to be held at this time.
Yeah, definitely some good news there, but still early in the wildfire season, so it's going to be a very long road for many of those residents. Thanks so much for this, Albert.
Thanks.
For more on all of this, we're joined by Rob Fraser. He is the mayor of the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality, and he joins us this morning from Fort Nelson this morning. Mayor Fraser, it's so nice to talk to you because we spoke, you and I, over the weekend, not this past week, but the weekend before when the fire was still approaching. And now there isn't so much unknown. We now know how big it is. We now know there has been damage, unfortunately, in your community. So give us an idea of what the situation there is on the ground this morning.
Well, last week I spoke to the Wildfire Service about some of the indicators that they'd be looking for before they would call this all safe. And some of those indicators, we can see them on the ground here now. So we're doing a lot of groundwork, as you've said, in anticipation of them making a call. We're speaking to all the agencies that will help us set up the community. We're asking them to give how many people they'll need in the community. We've set up a program for allowing people back in under a permitting system. So all of that is in place for as soon as we get the go ahead, we'll start moving people.
Yeah, that'll be a phased-in approach by the sounds of it. But in the meantime, it is still quite a phased-in approach, I would think, in assessing the damage that is there in your community. I know there have been some difficult conversations with homeowners about 4 or so homes were damaged as a result of this fire, several structures as well. How have those conversations been with the residents who are just really hoping to get back and assess what's left of their homes?
Yeah, those are very difficult conversations. 4 homes that were lost, 10 properties altogether, 4 homes that were lost. One of them was not occupied. So 3 families that we spoke to, I mean, they had known from Facebook and from others, from friends who were on the fire service, that they had significant damage to their properties. So they were a little bit understanding, but when they hear it officially from the mayor, it changes their emotions. Yeah, very difficult conversations.
I know it's been a stressful ordeal for the residents in your community who have had to leave, line up outside of shelters like what we're looking at right now, and then to see now the images of what their community looks like as a result of this fire. 123 square kilometers at last check, the size of that Parker Lake fire. And not just stressful for the residents, I know probably for the crews on the ground as well. Talk to us about those emergency workers who are there fighting the fire. How are they dealing and what are they up against still?
Yeah, the fire is still burning. As you say, 123 square kilometers, 12,000 hectares, and it's still all smoldering out there. This morning it looks pretty good, but they're still fighting on the northern edge. There's still some open fire on the northern edge and the southern edge, but they clear blue skies, hardly any wind, very cool. So they're beating this thing, and I think they're upbeat about that. I think they've recognized it's early in the summer, and this is probably just one fire that they're going to have to fight. But as I said, I think they're upbeat. You know, I see them smiling at the restaurant, and the wildfire crews have actually moved out to the airport. There's a 200-person camp out there, and they're looking after them all out there. But they're hopeful that they're going to get this thing under control, and they're turning their eyes to the Patrick Creek fire, which is to the north of us.
Mm-hmm. To hear that the crews are smiling, for you to say that they are hopeful, I know you have said in the past that you remain optimistic, and that's just the type of person you are as mayor of Fort Nelson, which I'm sure is some comfort for those who are waiting to return eagerly. What type of resources, though, are available for those who have been displaced, and even for those who decided to stay in their homes? I know there were about 50 or so.
Yeah, we're still working on that part of the plan. We're really just trying to stand up all the agencies and essential businesses in town. So I know we've got a dedicated crew that are looking forward to working with the province to see what sort of support systems are out there for the residents as they return. But I haven't been briefed on that yet.
I know your residents are keeping a close eye on the updates that you're providing, not only for them directly, but also to the media. What is your message for them?
Please be patient. The pressure to come back into the community once they see that the fire condition is down and getting safe, there's going to be an awful lot of pressure. And we just ask people, hold off, know that we've got a good team, again, working the plan, be patient. The more people we have in town, the more difficult it becomes for us to stand the town up.
Mayor Rob Fraser, thank you so much for your time and for giving us this update, and happy to see you smiling this morning. I know it's far from over. He is the mayor of the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality. Rob Fraser, thanks again.